All right, everybody. So we are live. We're actually scheduled to start at 3 p.m. So I just, of course, wanted to start a little bit early to make sure the sound is good and that everything is a-okay. So looks like we are good. And our wonderful guest will be joining us in just a moment here. Let's see. All right. But everyone, I'm really excited to get the show started and talk to Jim. Um, it's just really crazy how things work out and, um, how I came across her. And, I just felt very, very led spiritually to have her on the show. So I'm really, really excited. Let's see here. Okay, I'm just making sure we're good on YouTube as well. Okay. Looks like we're good. Okay. Make sure everything is good here. And we'll be getting started shortly. Okay. All right. It is 3 o'clock. So we're going to go ahead and begin the show. So welcome, welcome. Thank you for everyone who's watching now and everyone that will watch the show in the future. I feel like this show will be very helpful to those that see it. Honestly, what inspired me to even go this direction with the channel was this is just something that is very true to my life path, my calling, my spirit, and all things that have to do with spirituality, the occult, and metaphysical information has always been just something I've always been interested in, something I've always been attracted to, and it's never really been um, something I've dropped or given up. All of these years, I've always stayed connected to spirituality. So that's the direction of the channel, and I have many things in store for what I want to put out there as far as information, as far as spirituality goes. But this is just the beginning as far as the conversations that I want to have and topics I want to discuss on the channel. So, of course, if you are interested in being on, um, stage on this and any future discussions we have, or if you feel you have, something you would like to share with people, wow. The candle just flickered really hard when I said that. So clearly, there's somebody, like I said, that will probably need to see this live. Like I said, I'm not going to hold us up. I want us to go ahead and get into this. So I see Jim is here. I'm going to go ahead and get her on so we can get this conversation started. Hello.
How are you?
Hear me? Let me make sure I can. Okay, let's see. Let me see. Okay, are you muted? Is your mic muted?
No, it should be. Hear
Oh,
me?
okay, I hear you now. Hello, welcome, welcome. Oh, I'm so happy to have you here.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm great.
Yes, yes. How are you today?
I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling renewed, inspired. So, um, my moon is in Virgo, so I just went through a little lunar return this week. So I got a real good emotional reset and just a whole bunch of downloads and things. So like I really feel just good. I feel happy.
Yes. Yes, I am loving that. I'm all for gratitude because that's what I've been practicing lately, to remember to have gratitude no matter what our current circumstance is. Um, so, yes, let's go ahead and get started. Everyone, like I said, today we have Jim with us, Jim the Death Doula. Is that the title you want to be known by?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So just briefly, I'll just, kind of let them know that I came across, I was on TikTok and I was scrolling, and weeks before, I had been making a list of people that I wanted on the show that I wanted to interview. And, I had psychics, I had people that are mediums. I just had a list of people that I really wanted to feature on the show. And so I was scrolling on TikTok, and of course, they suggest people based on your algorithm. And I saw Jim's flyer for her Death Cafe pop up. And before I could even finish reading the end of it, I just felt that I was like, I wanted to have her on the show. And I personally had never heard of a death doula before. I knew what a birth doula was. I actually had a birthing doula. And so I just immediately was very, very interested in hearing more about it and knowing her story personally. And then, of course, I felt it was amazing to have a woman that is melanated in that space and to just share your story. And so that's what I'm hoping that we, get to do today. So the first thing that I guess I want to know is, in your own words or opinion, of just what is a death doula?
So a death doula is someone who cares for the dying and their loved ones. Particular phase focused on the grievers, because we have so many people who are going through significant losses because you are going through pain, waking very much so needed. Because the things that I do are a way to help people be able to go on, because grief can be one of those things that causes people to be stuck because they're so fixated on how could this terrible thing could have happened to my loved one and to me. So I feel that it's imperative to safe space for those grievers. I feel like a lot of grievers don't really have a good understanding of what death actually is, and they don't really have a safe after the funeral. 'Cause, after the funeral, they kind of just like you on your own, right? So it's like that's where I want to fill that gap in to help people, because it's not a linear journey. So I want to be able to be that safe space. And I also feel like with me and the work that I do, what sets me apart from a lot of deaf doulas is that I am a medium. So I offer that closure and that clarification in regards to, why certain things may have happened, why they may have attracted that experience, and just insights from that loved one to help them move on, because I feel like the mediumship can be very helpful because they realize that, loved ones never went anywhere and that they can still tune into their energy and they can find a way to go on. Because personally, that's what helped save me in my journey in regards to my situations with death. So that's why I felt inclined to be able to help others in the same way.
Okay, wow. Absolutely. So, um, I guess, I do want to say that I feel, I'll just speak for myself that, we go throughout our day and we go throughout life, and it seems like it's just, monotonous. And, you wake up, you go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep. And, I know it's always important to make time to have quality time with our family and our friends, because, our time here is, our lives are long, but it's very limited. As when we look back on things, time has a way of just, it flies by. And so I just know that whenever I unfortunately have lost people in my life, when I do go to the funeral, it immediately begins to ground me. I think that's the most grounding experience, is going to see your loved one who is no longer in the earth plane. And I don't think there's anything else really. I guess maybe a near death experience, or you know, yeah, I guess a near death experience would be the closest thing to that feeling that you get when you are in the presence of someone that's no longer in the physical. And so I just know that it's something that really makes me get a feeling of awareness. And there's nothing quite like that. And I know that's probably why a lot of people don't really enjoy going to funerals. But um, I I guess I just feel that obviously it's a part of our culture here in the United States, the way that we go about sending a person on their way when they make the transition. But yes, so um, I wanted to know, with you becoming a death doula, was this something that is like in your part of your lineage or your family? Is this something that you were brought up in? Uh, Basically, what inspired you to get into this line of work or this calling?
So I feel like it's a number of things. Definitely a lineage thing. My ancestors practiced similar things. And it's a past life thing for me as well. Like I've done this exact same thing um in a different reality. So it found me. I'll say that I acted as a deaf doula for my grandmother for about 10 years. She dealt with multiple different kinds of cancers and things like that. So I was unknowingly prepared for it, and I had no idea like that this was even a profession. So I have been doing that. And then I guess it took the transition of my partner for me to finally get it like, okay, yeah, this is what I'm here to do. Because sometimes it's like a something happens and you know you flip the switch and it's like, okay, I get it now. You know what I mean? I get it. Like y'all don't got to do nothing else. All right, I'm going.
Mhm.
I understand. So it was that, and yeah, just always having this compassion and curiosity towards the realms of death. Um, it's just something that always was just on my mind, and it makes so much sense now as to why I always thought about it, and I was always so close to it, and why I never really feared it. I didn't really have an understanding until I fully stepped into the role, but now that I do, and I'm grateful for all those experiences that contributed to it because it just makes so much sense.
Yes, yes. And my condolences to you for your loss.
I appreciate that, but honestly, I don't view death as a loss. That's another thing that I'm here to change the narrative about because anyone, I have the thought that I did, and I don't feel that way anymore. I had that thought, but I don't anymore because I realized it was really something gained. Because in regards to my grandmother, I feel like there was a lot of wisdom bestowed upon me that I'm channeling now, and same for my partner as well because my partner helps me a lot with my practice, especially in regards to my mediumship. I call on him for intuitive guidance and things like that, and I have a relationship with them that is unlike others. My experience is probably completely different from a lot of people, but I can't really view it as that anymore because like my reality won't allow me to, if that makes sense. But I appreciate that.
Yes, yes, I definitely understand that. And I think that's wonderful to be able to have, someone that was very close to you, that you loved, to be a guide on the other side. And I know that, that's a union that obviously will never be broken. So that's beautiful to have that. Um, okay. So did you say, I know you said you're a did you say a Virgo rising?
My moon is in Virgo.
Your moon is in Virgo. Okay. And what's your sun sign?
I'm a Taurus.
A Taurus. Okay. Yes, my father's a Taurus. um yes, I'm a Scorpio sun sign. Um yes. So okay. I want to get into basically, I know everyone has their own way of how they prepare, whether they're going to do a mediumship session or a psychic session or channel. But if you, what do you do personally when you go into, um, before you go into a session of whether it's mediumship or um, maybe you're channeling or psychic work? What type of things or exercises do you do or that you would like to share that you find helpful?
So mine are very simple. I feel like as humans, we try to complicate things when certain things are really could just happen like that. Or maybe for me, I don't know. I can't speak for everyone, but I do feel like these are some simple things. So I would say, nature, I always ground. If I'm not doing my work in nature, I try to go out before. So I'm just grounding. I'm letting the sun come in, and my shoes are off, and I'm just communing with all the spirits around. Sometimes I talk to the wind spirits, sometimes I talk to the trees, and kind of just ask them for guidance and help. Like, hey, I'm about to do this session. Come help me out. Like, I'm here. And also meditation, of course. I feel like that's imperative because meditation is, the way to access to your soul. So I feel like I normally do about a 20-minute guided meditation. I prefer guided because with my moon being in Virgo, my mind could go everywhere. So it's like I need something to guide me so I know so my mind knows where to go. So normally I'll do like a crown chakra or third eye or root, all depending on what I feel like is necessary and the intention of the session that I'm doing that day. But more than likely, it's mainly third eye.
Okay. Um, and I do the same. I think that's very important to obviously work on your chakras and to meditate. Meditation is the key to everything, not just channeling or mediumship, but just overall quality of life. Um, when before you, I meant to ask you this, like before you became a death doula, had you gone through like a time of healing for yourself? Did you go through, having to heal yourself, or is that something, I mean, I know that can be like a lifelong thing, but did you have to go through that walk before you stepped into being a death doula?
I feel like part yes, but more of the healing came once I stepped into the role. Um, I would say the biggest healing moment for me was like my postpartum journey. Um, my pregnancy was very beautiful. I have an Aries baby, so he had a lot of energy. I was very energetic and lively. I really enjoyed my pregnancy, but it was the postpartum kind of took the toll on me because I wasn't really prepared. I didn't really know what to expect, and you really do have to be patient. And we've been taught like oh 6 weeks and stuff. You'll heal in that time, and I didn't believe it, but I don't know until I know. So I'm just like we're just gonna see what happens. And I just did some certain things that I didn't really honor my body, so I had to learn how to go slow and really heal those parts of myself emotionally for sure and within my womb space in my breast. So that is when I really started to like, okay, yeah, there's some things going on that I've been neglecting, so let's get into it.
Okay. Yes. Because I know it's very, it's one thing to help other people, but sometimes it's like, as a healer, which that's what I see you as, we can sometimes neglect ourselves, or, we're going through, um, just our own journey through our transformation, because I feel that it's really a transformation when you become a healer, and you're spreading your energy around, to other people. And I think it's really helpful, obviously, to have your own time to heal your own things. And so, okay. There's so many. I know I have my list here of questions, but I'm also like, there's other questions that I'm asking. I'm trying to remember to ask you along the way. So okay, spiritual tools I want to get into next. Okay, pendulums, crystals, uh, altars, stones, crystals. Uh, what do you recommend, or what do you have to have? What do you use? What do you love using as far as spiritual tools?
I really love I love working with water, with fire, with dirt. I do a lot of like graveyard dirt magic or ancestral dirt. Herbs. I love a good oracle or tarot deck. I'll use a pendulum here and there, but pretty much all that stuff and crystals too. Crystals I'm starting to get more into. I feel like in the beginning of this journey, I used all of those tools, but I didn't know how to use them. But now it's like since I've gone through things deeper, it's like okay, I understand them a little bit more, how to utilize them. But I feel like the biggest thing for me lately is my herbs. I feel like baths are very important for people who do energy work because a bath is just so healing. Water just holds that healing frequency that we need, and we are mainly water, so it reflects back to us and it helps us heal. So those are some of the main things that I use on a daily.
Okay. Um, Yeah, I love pendulums. I also love crystals and stones. And I'm working on setting up my altar now, a new altar. I had an altar for a while in the past, and I felt that that was really um, wonderful to commune, with my ancestors on a weekly basis. It's really easy to get caught up in just the daily task of life. And so having an altar in your home, I think is really wonderful to just kind of stop you, because obviously you always will see it as you pass by it. And so I think it, communicates to you spiritually, and it's just a good reminder to always ground yourself, no matter what you have going on. So, um, how do you feel about, because I saw another thing, I was on your page and I noticed you were doing an event and you mentioned shrooms. And I've had a few experiences using shrooms, and they were, undescribable. I'll never forget them. So, how do you use shrooms and connect it to, your healing work or grief work? How is it used?
So I feel like psychedelics are very soul. They empty out what you do, and they show you who you really are. They take you on a journey. For me, microdosing is something that I started with my grief journey, and it helped me immensely. It just helped me be in the present moment. And also, what mushrooms do is it's neurogenesis. So you're recreating new cells within your brain for expansion. You're wiring your brain. And if you think about the mycelium network and how mushrooms are all connected, it's like it puts you back into that state of connectivity with the divine. Like it literally puts you on that God frequency, and you kind of just say, like, why was I being so serious? Like it makes you just breathe and get and laugh. Like you just start to feel love. Like I cry, I laugh, but it feels so good. Like all I can say is that it just brings that God frequency for sure. It's like I see it as much because I mean mushrooms are some of the eldest things on this earth. They've been given to us by our ancestors to help us reveal parts of our soul and reveal parts of the universe back to us. So I feel like they are a great tool. I will say that, they have to be used with conscious intention because I feel like a lot of people are starting to use them as like vitamins, like just popping them and things like that. And, mushrooms are alive. No living thing wants to be abused. So it's like you have to be intentional with the medicine because they will show you. So, I feel like that's imperative when doing it. Just being mindful of your dosage and the environment you're in and just what you're trying to manifest. But I feel like they will definitely show up and help you because you're
Yes, definitely. I agree totally about being responsible with using psychedelics. And I don't really understand how. I get why, because I know people be at just their at certain places in their life, so they may take a psychedelic for completely different reasons, versus it being something to heighten your spiritual experience or your reality here on the earth plane. But I don't know how people just go into it and they don't have control of their. Can you hear me okay?
good. I was looking for something myself.
Okay, that's okay. How they don't have control of their mind, and they just go into a psychedelic experience, and they're just kind of, all over the place. I just know I really kind of prepared beforehand. I didn't want to overdo it, but I definitely like wanted to have some control as far as just being like calm, clearing my mind. I didn't want to be thinking about, anything that was unnecessary, and just being mindful about what I was watching at the time, what I was thinking about. So, when I hear about people just, having trips and experiences, and they're just, using it as like a, a joy drug or an experience drug, then I don't know how they do that. But so okay, this is one of the questions that I really am interested to ask you about, because um, personally, one of my first experiences dealing with someone who passed that was not related to me. I was actually a CNA at the time, and I was studying, so I was with my other fellow students, and we were getting our hours basically at a nursing home facility. And make a long story short, someone that I'm very aware of my surroundings, and I had just saw the person literally 10 minutes before. We had came from the cafeteria, and this person was in a wheelchair, and Ashe and respect to him, because I'm speaking about him in this moment, but I speak about this person often, and I don't remember their name, but whenever I tell people, this story, just recognizing that they come up. And so anyways, I had saw him 10 minutes prior, and they were wheeling him in a wheelchair probably back to his room. And I would say probably 20 to 30 minutes later, my instructor came to us, maybe me and a few other people. Actually, she gathered our whole class on the hall in the hallway, and she basically told us that that person had made the transition, and it was like everything that you've been studying, everything that we've been reading about, it's time to put it to work, basically. And you're going to be cleaning this person and preparing this person to be viewed by their family, within the hour. So, who wants to volunteer? And, it was a lot for us, because we were just there to get our hours, and assist people with their just daily tasks. And so it was, that was definitely, obviously, not something you can plan, and not something that we were ready for, or expecting. So it was probably about 5 to 6 of us that went ahead, and, we said we would volunteer. And so we went into the room, and we helped to clean this man up and prepare his body. And it really reminded me of being back in Egypt, or how they would do it back in Egypt. Really prepare the body, and so that they could be seen by their loved ones. And I actually held this person's head, and I held their head, and I just remember holding their head, and it reminded me of sort of when you hold a baby. And I felt so uh, present. I felt sad. I did feel sad, and I felt very connected to this man. And I just, empathically, I just knew that he was, obviously probably wanting to just be in another place. And I'm sure that he was ready, to just see what more to life there was, other than him being in this nursing home. So I just remember feeling very grounded again in that moment and very aware of my surroundings. And I just remember everybody in the room, and it was completely quiet and very respectful. And we did our thing. And I just never forget that moment. Of us being, very young, but having to handle a moment like that very professionally, but also very spiritually without having to speak on that at all. Um, so, and I've had many other spiritual experiences, but I want to know from you, um, what's one of your most spiritual experiences or just supernatural experiences that you've had?
Well, firstly, I wanted to say what you just um I feel like that's such an honor to be able to do that for somebody. I feel like that's such a special and sacred thing. And it could be very emotional, but it really is a beautiful thing. And I feel like it puts life and death into perspective. So thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Um most spiritual. Honestly, due to the life that I live, um, it's so hard. What I'll say is my dreams. Um I was just talking to a friend about this, because we're dreaming that we're here in this realm right now in these bodies. So it's like, the dream realm is the real world, and that's where we feel most alive because that's where our soul can do whatever. So I feel like a dream I probably had about a year ago with my partner, like, and there were several back to back, but this first one, I just felt so much love. Um, that's how you know spirit because there's just this unwavering love because that's all that really exists. Everything else is bullshit.
Yes.
I just felt this unwavering amount of love. Nature was just alive. Like the colors were just speaking to me. Like I don't know. The colors had personality. I don't even know. But it's like everything was alive. Like the trees, the wind, the flowers, the people. Like everybody was it was just beautiful. Like you could just tell that the earth that we are residing on is an imitation of spirit, and that we're here to find our way back to that place, and that it's a frequency, it's not an actual place, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
In that dream space I just experienced a deep love that just made me feel okay, and during that time sleep was the only way I could get so much peace because sometimes being in these bodies in our waking life, dealing with grief or other emotions, it could be hard being in the body sometimes because it kind of forces us to descend back into it, and it could be tumultuous because there's a lot of trauma within that. But yeah, I would definitely say my dreams. I feel like that's the first moment I accessed the other side, um without being in my body within that time. And I knew for sure because you have that feeling of like flying, that love, and then everything is just alive and just welcoming and grabbing you in. It's like you're being like pulled from your heart into just, I don't even have words to how it actually feels. I feel like that's the best I could do in words, but it's so much more than even what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you mean because when you have these spiritual experiences, it's so many things that happen with your senses, and I feel senses that we're not even aware of that pick up on things that you really can't put words to it. It's like you would have to feel it, you would have to be there. And I am one of those people that believe, we astral travel at night, and that our dreams, I feel based on your consciousness, you can have lucid dreams every single night. Um, I I had a very notable lucid dream one time, and I I was there. Like there's no separation from that world and this one, other than like you said, us. I feel the vibration, has to do with it and many other factors that tether us here to the earth plane. But obviously, it's just no way that it wasn't real. It's just no way. So that's very interesting though. I just love hearing about spiritual experiences and you being a death doula. Like I know that you've had some experiences. So um now so would you say are there like any because I know you told me about you corrected me on saying me giving you my condolences or your loss, and I'm glad you said that because I don't see it as a loss either, and we shouldn't view it as a loss. But are there any other misconceptions about spirituality or anything that you found that you feel are just misunderstood or yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I feel like life and death is very misunderstood. I feel like humans make things so complex. And we're really just here to experience, and that's it. Like that's literally it. I feel like we get so attached to out we get so serious, and we think the world is over, and because it's all in our mind. So I feel like the biggest misconception is that people think that they don't have any control within their life, and it's like you chose to be here and you created everything you're experiencing. And the moment you realize that, you can change the course of outcome within your life, and especially in regards to death. A lot of people, misunderstand that realm, and a lot of people believe that their loved ones are actually dead. And it's like death is, life and death is actually backwards because we're here dying for real, but it's like when you die, you become awake. You shed that part of yourself that was so foggy, that part of yourself that made you think you left spirit when you were here all along. So I feel like those are two things that people really get misconstrued because we live in this realm of illusions, and you know your belief system is very imperative here because we live in this 3D mental reality. So it's like what you believe to be true is what's going to manifest for you. And when people stay stuck in that, they really start to believe these certain things, and it's just like no, like it's really not that. It's really whatever is going on, it's the opposite. You know what I mean?
Right.
Without. So it's like, whatever you being told, like just do the other thing. And I promise you that's the best thing. And especially with death, instead of people mourning the loss and oh my God, and which I understand, right? Because we're human, we experience grief, but it's just a different way to be done. All it takes is a shift of perspective. As soon as you shift your viewpoint and gain insights on things, your whole reality will change. And you don't even have to have that experience. It doesn't have to be bad. It wasn't intended to be bad. Everything that's going on here is what you want it to be. So everything can be changed with a simple thought, you know? So it's like when people realize that, oh, like, that's not really that. You simply thinking that will change your whole thing, and spirit will match the vibration of that. So you'll start to attract experience and still be able to commune with your loved ones. They'll be able to have access to you because you have buried them. You're not going to have access to them. So they really are going to be dead because that's what you believe to be true. So it's like if you unbury your ancestors and you realize what this all really is, you can live in you can live in harmony with everything. It'll never be like to that detriment anymore. You won't have to experience those because I feel like grief and those harsh feelings are so 3D, and I feel like we're moving on up. Like, we're in the fifth dimension now. So it's like certain things, fear, ego-based things, and death. Like, why are we on that still? It's like we gotta move on because it's really not that. And that's a lot of the same reason why we keep coming back here is because people are so hurt from grief and stuff that they'll stop their whole life and they'll stop living and they'll die before they be in the casket, you know? So it's like, that's another reason why I feel like my work is so imperative because just that simple change in perspective can heal lineages. Just that one thought can help birth something new because that's what we're here to do. We're here to reprogram our minds and transform into something better because why are we going to keep coming here doing the same thing? You know, because I don't want to live like that. At the end of the day, it's a choice. It's like, do you want to regress or do you want to move forward? And it's like, you got to find within that.
Yes, absolutely. And I know I don't want to keep coming back. I know I want to move on and I want to experience more. And, you know, when you have like the most wonderful day, you know, for example, when everything goes in your favor and it's just like this day was perfect, you know, that really is the heaven, you know, that we seek on earth. And so I do believe that you can have that here. And so I don't rush to finish this journey. You know, I know that after this, there's there's things that we'll experience that, you know, we that are so beautiful we can't even fathom, you know. So I um I feel you on, you know, being there to assist people in still living life and wanting to live, because I know it's very easy to get into, you know, what the narrative is of how you should grieve and just the whole process and, you know, going through that. And I know not everyone is the same as far as being able to accept losing someone, but you know, like you said, you really didn't lose that person. They've just transformed. They're just in another state, and so being able to communicate with our loved ones still is obviously very important. Is that something that you help people with as well? I mean, I know that you offer your gifts to do that, but is that something that you kind of will help people to do on their own as well?
Absolutely. So I teach psychic development so that people can tap into their own gifts so that they can do their work on their own. Like it's beautiful to have someone like me, but it's also beautiful for them to be able to do it themselves and, you know, learn and progress through that because, you know, the deeper you tap into spirit, the more help you're going to be able to gain on your path. And that's what I want for everybody. I want everybody to know that you can do these things and you can help yourself too. It's always good to have somebody else, but it's always good to, you know, acquire those skills within yourself because it can just improve so many different aspects of your life and just make your journey easier.
Absolutely, yeah. So I guess before we wrap this up, I just wanted to ask you: are there Can you provide any guidance or advice for someone that would want to go into being a death doula? You know, did you have like a mentor? Are there a lot of melanated death doulas? You know, what's your advice and what's your experience been with that?
So um, I found this path on my own. I'm just so curious and always looking for ways to expand, and it kind of found me because, like I said, I was unknowingly doing this work before I knew it had a title. So once I found out, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I went through this doula company called Indala,
Mm-hmm.
the association. And it was beautiful. It was a weekend class and beautiful. But I will say that it's imperative to do education on your own and also find a way that works for you because you can take the deaf doula route in many ways. You can help people who are going through ego death. You can help through like abortions. Um, miscarriages. You can do, of course, the regular end of life care and the grieving. It's so many ways that you can take it because death is something that not only happens, shedding of the body. We die every day. There's so many instances in which death comes up. So just educating yourself on that and thinking about which route that you want to take it based upon, what skills you already do have and what are your interests and how do you want to care for people. Um, I also think it's imperative to take care of yourself because you can't do this kind of heavy work if you're neglecting yourself. So this path, if you choose it, it's going to make you heal yourself. Like there's no way around it because you cannot heal anybody else unless, you look within and do your work. So I think it's a beautiful path because it allows you to be more healthy. I feel like choosing this path has made me care about myself more because it's like I want to show up for humanity. So I got to show up for myself now first. So I feel like it's made me put self-care first. So like having a good solid routine and meditation and having just good self-care remedies to take care of yourself is imperative for this path. As far as the mentoring, I definitely had a mentor who was a medium and a channeler. And just being around him kind of you're around something that you want to acquire, you start to become like that when you spend time with those people. So being, spending time with a mentor, somebody close in that field is really going to help. Um, and then within my field, I don't know too many death doulas. I know a few melanated death doulas within where I live. I live in Cleveland, Ohio. It's still a rarity because I mean it's still something that's very new to people. But there are a lot of death doulas out there. Um, I definitely want to connect with them as well because I feel like personally I want to start my own deaf doula school because I feel like this is something so imperative and so many people ask me about it and I feel like this would be a great curriculum, for people to have because I mean it's so life changing and you can take it a number of ways like I shared. So I feel like this is a great path for somebody who cares about just death, dying, and the process of it, and life too because life is a big. I mean, it's. So
Yes, yes. Okay. Yeah, I know that I just feel whoever, sees this in the future will probably be very inspired. I just feel, somebody who sees it will want to know more and, in how to get into that type of work and how to go about it. Um, because it's not common. Like I said, I knew what a birth doula was, but I'd never heard of a death doula before. And I think it's very common to see a priest, come in to give you your rights or to say the particular prayers that they say. But I think it's important for us as melanated people to have our own unique individuality in how we want to handle our loved ones that are, making the transition, all the way into the end. It makes no sense to have, a life where you study consciousness and spirituality, metaphysical, the occult, and then have, a priest come in. I just don't, see that. So I think it's wise to have these networks, and these things handled so that you know who to reach out to. And so I'm glad that you're making yourself available and you answered the call because you didn't have to. So I think that's amazing to do that to help other people. Um, Okay, and my final question is, are there any books that you would recommend, or anything you would recommend in studying, just in all the work you do? I know that you have. I was looking at your services that you offer, and I know you offer many services. Like I said, from mediumship to psychic work to tarot readings. Are there any books or anything, any people, other people that you would recommend to someone that's wanting to get further in their spirituality or learn more about being a death doula?
Yeah, I feel like um for me, Gaia is really big. So it's like a spiritual platform with a lot of information. You can really get lost on there because it's so many beautiful things. But I feel like Gaia is a great tool. Death, the afterlife, near death experiences. There's a death doula on there that's interviewed. Yeah, there's a lot within that space. As far as books, um, there's a book called You Are a Medium. So it teaches you different techniques how to engage within the spirit realm and if you're grieving and how to connect to that loved one. There's also a book called I'm Still With You. These are both by Sherry Dillard. And there's another one called I Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like. That's the third one. Um, hmm. And then there's also another book called Yusa. So it's I think it's called like the Guide to Healing Mind, Body, and Spirit. It's a purple book. I don't know the author, but it's a really good book. I use it as like a spiritual Bible because it breaks down everything. It breaks down the mind, body, and spirit and how it's all connected. And I feel like that it will really, help somebody who doesn't understand why they're here, and to help them on their path. Um, and I also feel like YouTube and TikTok is honestly two great tools because you can find almost anything on there
Mm-hmm.
for research and then just looking up different people and staying with them and taking notes on that and also asking God for guidance because whatever what you're seeking is seeking you. So it could be as simple as putting the thought out there or writing something and putting on your altar. And the information will come through and it can come in the form of a person. You might see an ad, you might see something, and the information will come. So it's out there, it's easily accessible. Like whatever you want to be true for you can happen. So
Yes, absolutely. And I know all about, uh, receiving signs through symbols and, like you said, an ad or a song or anything like that. I'm always telling people, you might hear a song and the lyrics, are speaking through to you, or you overhear a conversation, I love when that happens. Okay. Well, I think I've asked you, everything. Like I said, I don't want to, you know, overdo it as far as, our conversation today, as I feel like we'll speak again, at some point. But, thank you so much for being on the show. I know we had a schedule conflict, so I really appreciate you, just being here, and it's been really great, just, learning about your journey and your experience. And like I said, I really feel that this will assist someone, you know with just learning more about being a death doula and, spirituality in general. Before we close out, I do want you to, give your handles, your for your social media, and, let people know where they can find you, what your services are, all that.
yeah, so I am only on TikTok and Instagram. You can find me at Cemetery Lover Girl. And as far as what I do, so I do the deaf doula work, the mediumship, Reiki, readings. And new, I'll be offering past life regression sessions and therapy starting in October. I also do a bit of birth doula work as well. I'm not a certified birth doula, but I do work with pregnant women. Reiki is really good for mom and baby and breastfeeding too, because it helps, the energy flow within that. But yeah, I'm here for like all your spiritual needs, like literally whatever you need, I'm here. So I'm open.
Okay. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I'll be sure to add your information, of course, below. In the video description box. But is there anything else you want to add? Is there anything else you want to say before we close out?
Well, first, I just want to say I'm grateful to be on the show because it's an honor to be able to share this because you never know who's watching. And this is my life. So it's important to me that I get to share it with the world because I feel like it really does help people heal. And I'm here to be of service for myself and to humanity. And I'm all about just everybody evolving. Um, but I'll just say, you know, we're in beautiful and changing times. And just try not to take life too serious. Find ways to laugh and just enjoy and be in the present moment because that is what heaven truly is. And heaven is a vibration and you can experience it now and every day of your life. So choose love instead of fear. Our egos are a part of our identity and our experience and we're still human, but choose your soul over that, as many times as you can because that's the fear is what's going to hold you back, and the soul is what's going to help you expand and attract everything in your life. So just don't give up and try to just find the brighter side of it. No matter how delusional it may sound, like you can make that reality come because I mean you are in control of everything. So
Yes, thank you for saying that because it sounds like you're speaking directly to me. So I am definitely, gonna take that. And okay, well, like I said, thank you so much for being here. I really, really can't thank you enough for just taking the time. And like I said, I know we'll be speaking again. I just feel that we will at some point. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you, everyone, for watching.
you as well. Thank you.
Okay.